Yeah, welcome everyone to my private office, and thank you. As we're all aware of, yesterday, the 9th of November, something very unique happened in the political sphere of this country, where a judge had to come forward and say that INEC as a body were in contempt of his judgment, where he also condemned a former factional chairman of APGA that he's giving them 14 days to purge themselves, to recognize me, 14 days to deal with the wrong names that were put in Imo, not here, Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa, to purge themselves of those acts. I feel it's a big shame. But when we're talking about the shame, I want to really congratulate and thank the FCT Chief Judge, Hussein Baba Yusuf, who withstood the barrage of the political dollars. Different types of petitions were written and taken to the Chief Judge, who looked at the situation and knew that all they were fabricating were lies and allowed things to move on. It has been a very, very treacherous journey in these 5 years. But we Nigerians should become very, very careful, particularly us who are from upper to middle class in this country, because things are really, really bad. And we keep playing with the minds of our people, thinking that they are stupid, but they are not stupid. APGA cannot elect a national chairman, and INEC, the police, some people in the Supreme Court will then be playing games. We have really weathered a lot of storms, but thank God eventually INEC have been ordered to do the needful. There is no need for us to be talking about any other thing. There should not be even any need. As soon as a court gives a judgment, every government parastatal should obey it. The highest thing, they go on appeal. If appeal comes out with another judgment, they obey the appeal. If they go to Supreme Court, they obey the Supreme Court. We should stop disobeying orders in this country. I also call on the Attorney General to look into these matters where people get up and disobey court orders. It is a shameful thing for it to be discussed that 14 days is being given to a high-up officer as the chairman of INEC. It should not apply. And these are because of people within there who might be sending false reports, who can be doing various things. But the buck really should stop with the INEC chairman. He should look at these things and get it off his desk. Nigeria has too much problems to be dealing in party problems. They are not members of APGA. Why should they be fighting against APGA? It's a very, very sad thing. I thank all those APGA members who have stood with us in these very, very difficult times. I also call on the respected television stations like Arise, AIT, Channels, TVC, etc. They should check their consciences to know, have they really in this APGA matter done the right thing, or have they followed the dollars? When there's a court order, the first people that should obey it are people who are institutions like the press. They cannot keep saying INEC is recognizing. If INEC are the ones culpable, are you going to be following those who have now been said that they are culpable of an offense? Most press people abroad are the ones who do due diligence. More due diligence should be done by press, by the people of members of the press. I can't see why it is so abundantly clear and people are going to be sent to jail saying that there was a court order stopping a convention, and then a television station will be airing it live and having programs saying we are talking to the national chairman who has been barred by court. It is a terrible thing. These institutions like the courts are there to protect us, to protect you who are the television station, to protect the news agents, to protect us as individuals of this country. We should not, because of dollars, keep flaunting these things. Television stations should stop having what you call standing orders from politicians. Whatever news they bring, they will put it out. It shouldn't be like that. You should balance your news and find out what's true and what's not true. Newspapers should stop carrying someone who has a court order, you say he is a liar. It can't be done. Please help us in this testing time in Nigeria. Our democracy is so shaky. You are the ones we should rely on. In this my battle of 5 years, the people I hold most culpable are the press first, because they have let down Nigerians, the common people. They are mostly all educated people, but they have behaved a lot different from that. We ourselves as politicians, they blame us, they are politicians. Yeah, we're pretty bad. But the people enhancing the politicians are certain factors in the press, certain factors in the police, certain factors in the courts. And Nigerians, we should try and weed these people out. Thank you very much. If there are any questions.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just from the Guardian. I want to know the implication of the 14 days window given to INEC to carry out the fundamental rulings of the Supreme Court on the leadership of APGA.
When we are in court, people in positions, maybe the INEC chairman, maybe Victor, maybe whoever, can always say that they've not gotten the right information, that they didn't know. Now it has been made clear. A judgment has been given that they are in contempt of court. And the court is now giving them, and it was very magnanimous of the judge, who gave 14 days for you to look at this thing and see whether was there a court order, is there a judgment of court, and are you obeying the judgment, are you obeying the order? If you are not obeying the order of court, and you are not obeying the judgment, then you are in contempt and you can go to jail for it. And that's the law. He also went further to say that Oyedem went to say that they went to a court in Oka to stop them from obeying. He said that the court in Oka did not discharge the orders he gave. He never said, he didn't mention it, that the order of the court is to be obeyed. And please, what they need to do is to obey their order. If they want to go to the Court of Appeal and appeal, let them go to the Court of Appeal. They went to the Court of Appeal rather, and the Court of Appeal struck it out. Let them go to the Supreme Court. Are they afraid of the Supreme Court? Because they know all this emanated from the Supreme Court. Let them take that order back to the Supreme Court. But they are saying no, they are going to the Court of Appeal, that to do this, to do that, just deceiving Nigerians. Let them now take that order that was appealed in the Court of Appeal now to the Supreme Court, because it was dismissed in the Court of Appeal. So now these people should stop fooling Nigerians. They have a lot more money than we do, so they get up and they buy stations, and they have 1 hour on the station talking a lot of things that are not true. It is clear today, as of yesterday, that the judge has held INEC in contempt. It's not a nice thing. It's a very, very big embarrassment to us all. You know, sometimes in this country, we take on more than we can actually chew. The court has given its own decision. If these areas need to be emphasized further, it will be in the Court of Appeal, appealing this judgment that just been given yesterday. And then the facts will be looked. But until those facts have been looked at, either in the Supreme Court, this order should be obeyed. And if it's not obeyed, people will go to jail. The judgment of the court is clear and unambiguous. Magudu's judgment is that I should be recognized as national chairman, and all the benefits that are coming from there. So if there's a name going to be received by ANEC, it should be my name. It shouldn't be Oye's name. Once you're taking Oye's name, you are under contempt of court. You understand? And the order itself is ripe for hearing now. Was ripe for hearing yesterday. The judgment is not yet ripe. If it's ripe, it will still come out for hearing, and it covers every aspect of it. You understand? There's a judgment and there's a ruling. And it's so clear in that 6th of June judgment, including the order, that they should not be in the office the judge made it clear they should not be in the office in Katape. They should recognize me as national chairman. Every of our executives emanating from the Warrior Convention must be recognized. You understand? Those are the orders of court. And the point I'm making is we don't need to be using a dangling jail term before we accept that we are going to do something. We must obey the orders of court and then try and discharge them in a court. And these are orders subsisting. And because Supreme Court is not an enforcement court, people just take it for granted. Now this court has come to enforce that judgment. And enforcing that judgment, they can now send you to court to jail on contempt. So part of your subconscious is believing that Oye was a chairman. You understand? That's why you're asking me that question. The question you should be asking me is the tenure of office of APGA, has it not elapsed? Because Oye was not the chairman between 2019 and today. And previously I told you that because of this katakata, there is part of in our constitution that says you can go for your NEC, which we officially wrote INEC through a recorded delivery. They minuted on it, and we did our NEC meeting. After our NEC meeting, we also wrote back to INEC telling them that from the ward to the national have had an extension of 1 year. So our tenure is on a 1 year extension up till which we're going up to May next year. And within that period, between now and May next year, we'll do congresses and a convention that the party should have done. But to subvert that, Oye then went from behind. He appointed Alex Obiobolu as the chairman of a convention committee. That's a privy. He's giving him to assign it to him. Oye through his own pen, and they went out and did congresses and convention. All those are illegal, and the court in the judgment has told us that all those things are null and void. So we should understand as people who are law-abiding citizens that when the court tells you that something is null and void, it is null and void till it's discharged. You can't be asking me those questions about I'm not saying you are, but generally about one slide or whatever, because the law has told us that it's null and void. And if they feel it is not, let them go and discharge it in a court of law. I call it poetic justice, you understand, because when they took me to him, obviously he did not know the level of the case. When he now looked into it, he saw that they were completely culpable, and he gave judgment. I'll be very comfortable because the courts have said what I've been saying for such a long time. And if you read this judgment, which I read earlier on, it's so unambiguous when it responds and says, look at what the Supreme Court said, and it's clear. Why are we blinded to what the Supreme Court has said? It is just a very nice, and we should really stop allowing it to be called a Nigerian thing, where we just carry on and we deceiving everybody. And then even people who I like to come in, with all these things happening, are people not going to stop and say, now wow, is this not the man they said forged the judgment? If they were not worried about something, why did they say I forged the judgment? If they were not worried about that judgment, why would they say that and go to the lengths of calling all of you there, bringing the whole press in Nigeria, paying them money and saying that? If they were not worried about something, why did they go into Supreme Court and get workers to come out and say that I did when the law judges were on holiday? People should put two and two together. Let's get out of this quagmire in Nigeria. We're all literate, so we should use our faculty to know this is not fair, this is not good. If it can be happening to someone like me, what could be happening to the rest, 98% of other Nigerians? Because I feel probably I'm a little bit better than most, but it's happening to me. So what rights does any other person have in this country?